Okay, this lesson is going to be about weight and customary systems. So there are going to be three things that we're going to talk about: ounces, pounds, and tons. The first thing you need to memorize is that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. And 1 ton has 2,000 pounds in it. Now, pounds are abbreviated as LB. So a little history lesson. Back in ancient Rome, they used to use a measure for weight called libra ponda, which means pound weight. So the word libra is LB. You see the LB, right? And that's where they came with that abbreviation. But later we just started calling it pounds, right? Which sounds like ponda. So that's why we call it pounds, but we abbreviate it as libras, which is LB. Here's our next problem. We have 50 ounces, and we need to know how many pounds that would be. So what we have to do is see the relationship between ounces and pounds. There's 16 ounces inside of 1 pound. So if you have a measurement of 1 pound, it's the same thing as having 16 ounces. Now, you have really 50 pounds. The weight is much larger. It's 50 ounces. And so we need to know how many pounds can squeeze into that. So every 16 would be 1 pound. So 16 plus another 16, that's already 32, plus another 16 ounces. So far I have 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound. Every 16 ounces is 1 pound. So far 16 plus 16 plus 16 would be 48 ounces. If you add these together, all three, you get 48 ounces. So you're missing 2 extra ounces here. Extra 2 ounces would have to be added to get to 50. So out of all this, if you think about it, you are really doing a division problem. It's 50 divided by 16. How many times does 16 go into 50? Well, the answer is 1, 2, 3 times. So you could do this by guess and check. So we have 3 full pounds, and we also have extra 2 ounces left over. 2 ounces left over. The number you are dividing by, it's really, the problem is like this. Let's change that to 50 divided by 16. Or you could think of it this way. 50 divided by 16. What we're going to get, 16 goes into 50 3 times. Remainder is 2. But you are dividing by 16, so 16 is going to stay as your denominator. So this denominator is still 16. After that, you can simplify it to 3 and 1/8. So the answer is 3 1/8 pounds. Here's the next problem. Remember that ounces and pounds are related like this. There's 16 ounces equal to 1 pound. 1 libra, which is 1 pound. 16 ounces in 1 pound. We have 38 ounces. This is 38 ounces. We need to know how many times 16 can squeeze into it, because every 16 is 1 pound. Every 16 ounces would be 1 pound. So 16 ounces, another 16 ounces would give us so far 32 ounces. Now, if we are up to 32, up to here, how much is left over? What is this blank space left? How many ounces would be left? So the answer is 6. So if we did 38 divided by 16, 16 went into 38 once, twice, remainder was 6, the denominator is 16. You could simplify 6 over 16 by dividing each number by 2. So this becomes 2 and 3 eighths. So the answer is there's 2 3/8 pounds inside of 38 ounces. In the next problem, we have tons that we want to change to pounds. We know that 1 ton is the same thing as 2,000 pounds. So if we have 14 of these tons, remember that every 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So if you have 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Each one of these is going to be 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and so on. So you're going to take 2,000 and multiply it by 14. So, easy way to do this, take 14 multiplied by the first digit, which is 2. You're going to get 28. But it's 2,000. We're talking about thousands here, so we're going to carry over that meaning of 1,000, which is 3 extra zeros. So the answer is 28,000 pounds. What if you see a question like this where there's a mixed number and they want you to change it to ounces? We know that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So if you have 5 of these, 5 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a tiny chunk which is only 1/2 pound. 1/2 pound. So this is 16 ounces, this is 16 ounces, this is 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, and then what's half of a pound? What's half of 16 ounces? Well, you could do that in mental math. Half of 16 would have to be 8. So what you really are doing here is 5 times 16, and then adding the extra 8. You're doing half of 16, which is actually 8 ounces. So 16 times 5. Let's do that first. 16 times 5 gives us 80, plus the extra 8 that we got from the 1/2 pound. So 80 plus 8 gives us 88 ounces. Now we could have also done this like this. 5 1/2 multiplied by 16. So this changes to an improper fraction. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11 over 2 multiplied by 16 over 1. You could have cross-reduced at this point. 16 and 2 are divisible by 2. You get 8. And if you divide this by 2, you get 1. And so then you do 11 times 8, which is 88. And 1 times 1 is 1. 88 divided by 1 still gives us the correct answer of 88 ounces. The next problem is getting a little bit trickier. So we have 158 ounces and we want to change it to pounds and ounces. Now there's 1 pound equivalent to 16 ounces. So this kind of tells us that if you divide this number by 16, you're going to get a whole number answer, and you're going to have some ounces also left over. So if you do 158 divided by 16, well, think of it this way. 16 times 10 would be 160. So this would not be 10 pounds. This would be just under it. So it should be 9. If you try 9 multiplied by 16, you're going to get 144 ounces. Now 144 is how many spaces away from 158. So you can do 158 minus 144 to see how many ounces are going to be left over, which should be 14 ounces left over. And one more interesting problem here. 48,000 ounces. They want to change it into tons, for example. So how do you change from ounces to tons? Well, we know that 1 pound is 16 ounces, and we also know that 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. So the first thing we should do probably is change to the next highest measurement in weight. So from ounces, we should probably change it into pounds first. Once you know how many pounds this is, so we're going to change it to pounds. And once we know how many pounds it is, then we can change it to the next highest measurement, which is tons. So we're going to do 48,000 ounces divided by how many ounces are per pound, which is 16. And you could do this division this way. 16 can go into 48 exactly 3 times. So then the extra 3 zeros get carried over. Our answer is 3,000 pounds. So 48,000 ounces is the same thing as 3,000 pounds. We know that 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. But we have 3,000 pounds. So we're going to do 3,000 pounds divided by 2,000 pounds. 2,000 can go into 3,000 once, so you're going to get 1 ton out of that. How many pounds are left over? Should be 1,000. And the same denominator stays, it's 2,000. Now this really can simplify. 1,000 divided by 2,000 is the same thing as a half. So we have 1.5 tons. The answer is 1.5.